deploy in the past. So the aggression amps up more towards the mid-game stages. But we are loaded in. We're ready to kick off this PvP. In the top right position, we have a blue Protoss player representing the European region. He is MC.
Bastos himself, he's gonna go up against this very strong but smiling Protoss at the 6 o'clock position of Merry-Go-Round. He is representing CJ Entus. Give it up for Hero.
Such a cool matchup. You know, we get these. The best part about bringing together the top 16 players for WCS is you just get matchups you don't see. They were talking earlier about the top 8 that we're already looking at. You have Bomber MMA, not a series that's happened terribly often this year. Even looking forward, matchups like Pole versus Classic, and this is another one where how often do you really get to see these two go head to head?
Not often, Nate. They played against each other once this year. They played against each other in 2013, but looking at those results doesn't even really matter anymore. We're playing on completely different maps. Merry-Go-Round may have been a map that was around in the start of the year. They definitely didn't play on it though, because back then we're playing on Yangzhou, on Heavy Rain and stuff like this. Now I'm expecting Blink Stalker openings from maybe even both players, but definitely from Hero. As MC already said, you know, we know him as the Blink man. CJ Entus Hero has phenomenal Blink Stalker control, but this is just a great map to go for Blink Stalkers as well. I kind of wonder, of course, will it be a 1-gate Twilight or is it the safe to a Twilight? On a stage like this, if you open up with 1 gate into a Twilight Concert and your opponent just straight up 3-gates you, one misclick, your Mothership Core slightly being too far out of position, or one Stalker just absorbing one volley too much, it can really spiral out of control very quickly. So if CJ Entus Hero would go for a 1-gate Twilight, that would definitely tell us that he's very confident and that he's not feeling too nervous.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested by the direction that the first probe out for Hero went in. MC goes straight to the bottom base. He finds Hero's Nexus. He's like, okay, I can see everything here. Hero has not checked either expansion. He runs straight to the top, and he says, I'm going to put a proxy pylon between one of the two possible bases that you're in. Do you thinking maybe Stargate here hidden?
Most likely a Stargate. I'd be shocked if he wants to proxy his Twilight Console. If he would do that, then it would also be a Dark Shrine. Otherwise, it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But, you know, Oracles can be very effective. Oracles were extremely effective for Hero earlier this year when he played against MC in Sao Paulo. But, you know, different day and age. MC scouts him very quickly and is probably wondering, like, alright, Chrono boosting out the Mothership Core, just a single gateway so far, where are you going to take this? I don't think that MC will scout this, but he might suspect it.
Yeah, well, it is a Stargate, it's on the way now. It's not quite as close as, I guess we've seen proxy positions be kind of interesting in these circumstances. If MC had spawned in the top left, that Oracle would have a very short drive over to his mineral line, and we know how fast those can clean up workers.
Yep, that's definitely what Hero would have been hoping for. So MC is going to be the player that goes 1-gate Twilight. I still think it's a little bit of a confident opening. 2-gate Twilight would have been a lot safer, but you do have to take some risks at this level. This probe, unfortunately for Hero, will not find a Protoss base there, because of course, like Nate mentioned, the Stargate would have been a lot closer. Ooh, he's following this up with 2 extra gateways as well. So he could potentially be aggressive after an Oracle opening, but it could also just be for safety.
Yeah, that Oracle is coming in. The Twilight Council is about to finish up as a Stalker pokes for it. MC drops a pylon on the left side of the map. It's a little bit interesting. There's not, he knows it's not really close for an aggressive warp in position, but maybe to hide some tech later on. Yeah. You think?
Whoa!
Kind of interested.
Okay, so MC proxies a Stargate as well on the 9 o'clock position of this map. I'm definitely shocked by that, especially that's not a common follow-up. And ironically enough, Hero wipes in the Twilight Council, so in the end we'll end up with the same units. But the timings are definitely very different. This Stalker is testing out the waters, but this Oracle is most likely going to fly into 2 Stalkers and a Photon Overcharge. So Hero should not be able to kill a whole lot of probes over here.
Yeah, Hero trying to use
sacrifices it.
Yeah, he wanted that Stalker to bait some damage, but he loses the Oracle at the end of the day, and that's a very expensive investment to lose at this point.
At first I actually thought it was on purpose, because it was like, alright, at this moment you're committed, this Oracle's not gonna go home anymore. So he could have killed 2, maybe even 3 additional probes, but then he still tried to fly it away, and that was kind of a bad decision, because it was obvious that it was going to die in that phase. So I think that MC is quite pleased with this, and this is definitely not a follow-up that CG Enter's Hero is expecting. He saw the gateways, he saw the Stalkers. Right now he's probably worried about Blink Stalkers knocking on his front door in the near future. The last thing that CG Enter's Hero is expecting is an Oracle to fly into his main base, but he does have the Mothership core, so he should be alright.
But how do you hold? Can you even hold on to a natural expansion at this point? The Nexus isn't done, so even if you have enough energy, you can't photon overcharge it. And he could force energy to be spent from that Mothership core in the main base.
Okay, interesting now. Not an Oracle flying into the main base of MC, but there are 2 Stalkers. At least he's forcing 3 defensive weapons. That's very important. You need to keep that Oracle alive, Hero, and that's exactly what he does. But take a look at the main base. Photon Overcharge has been activated in the main base. The Oracle does die. But how are you going to defend this expand now against Blink Stalkers when your Stalkers can't blink?
Yeah, there's just a little bit too much as far as the forces here. And those Stalkers, as you said, with Blink, there's a lot more you can do with them, having the ability to just jump back once the Stalkers get weakened. Heroes it's only halfway done. Now he actually, if he manages to finish up this Nexus, he's showing enough force here that taking this base this much earlier is actually quite nice for him, as long as he doesn't die to whatever follow-up attack comes.
MC was just waiting for one more warp in, realized he needed just a little bit more DPS. He let the Nexus finish up, so that was also a calculated move. He's like, alright, please try to defend it. I have Blink, you don't. Time Warp is going down as well.
Yeah, I actually kind of like this. Use those defensive warp-ins to slow down MC's aggressive potential, and now you're up a base. As long as you can hold on to this and keep this Oracle on the map, you want to force those Stalkers to stay home, because MC's army, it's not actually as big as it should be.
Hero shouldn't lose his Oracle. Of course, picking off a couple of workers again is nice, but I really like what you said there, Nate. That makes so much sense. As long as that Oracle is there, you keep 6 supply of your opponent in his main base, and MC doesn't want to have 6 supply of Stalkers in his main. He wants to have all of his Stalkers on the other side of the map, because he wants to kill that expand. Because nobody wants to play 1 base against 2 base in PvP.
Yeah, I think he's actually brought those Stalkers out of his base. We're going to see that army really reach its full potential. There's not much reason for Hero to come down. He wants to pick up a few units and blink back. He's really trusting in his micro abilities here. Every little bit that he grabs really allows him to secure even further advantage.
Okay, there's a few more hit points on the Stalkers of MC. It's pretty much now or never for MC already, because if he doesn't win here, he's down 6-7 workers and a base. But I do like the positioning of his Stalkers now. Hero realizes he's in a little bit of trouble. He's pulling a few workers.
The Stalkers are so much weaker for Hero in a straight-up engagement. MC is just rolling through this. As you mentioned, though, losing the Nexus is it could set this back to just a 1 base versus 1 base. The worker count is pretty damn close, so it's going to come down to once again control. But there's just so much army on the map for MC.
Yeah, Heroes is going to have to sacrifice this. He realized he shouldn't walk down. MC is going to try to push the issue. He realized that he lost quite a few workers. He still has more units. Blinks up the high ground as well, and it actually looks like MC is in a phenomenal position to take game number 1.
Yeah, forcing that ramp. A great attack by MC. Finally able to use all of his army supply to battle at once, and the workers for Hero will not